here, what we're going to be practically assisting and supporting you with within the interviews to come, just utilizing this as an example, we'll first walk a process of when a point is initially just a fear, right? Why does the fear exist in the first place? How is fear energy created? What is involved with the initial memory creation? Because all fears in your mind comes from a memory that you had created inside your mind in relation to something or someone from your external environment. A memory is the seed for a point extending into a fear in the mind or eventually a paranoia. And within this, it is important to understand why fears exist. You'll find as we walk each interview or interview series within this main series, we will be taking on individual fears. You'll understand why they exist, how our minds had been programmed to create fears towards particular specific things or people in our external world and environment. Because we find that when you understand why something exists within you, that it's in that understanding easier to change your relationship to it. And once we had walked the fear or all the fears in relation to a particular point, we will then take it into what happens when that same fear becomes a paranoia. Because some human beings will find that you have fears and then you have phobias, where the fear had become a paranoia. What do I mean by that? A phobia is essentially a paranoia, where a fear would essentially be in a way practical, meaning it'll have a practical context in the sense that, taking again the example of walking down the street and fear comes up of the dog running after you or attacking you, the probability realistically of something like that happening exists, where a dog can escape and run after you and attack you. But obviously it is a fear in the sense that you have looked at your external environment and you can see the dog is behind steel gates, completely locked in. It is not running after you. And that's why it is simply then a projected fear inside the mind, because it has got no context to fact when you have a look at where you are and who you are in reality. All right. However, paranoias has got no realistic probabilities, right? Where, for example, you'd be walking down the street and the dog would be barking, and initially you see one dog, and then it's like your mind goes into that paranoia, and then all of a sudden see all the dogs in the neighborhood coming out and coming after you, that they want to avenge something against you, personally. And, what if they, want to take out everything that they have been through as animals, throughout time on you right now? Do dogs communicate with each other in such a way? Do they have escape routes out of their homes? That's a paranoia, because there's no realistic, practical, factual probability for something like that happening. All right. So there you have the phobia that is, in that context, a paranoia. So there's the connection between phobias as paranoias in the mind. Fear paranoias, to be more precise. So within this series, we will then walk the fear context. As I've said, some fears are simply fears for a moment that you react to in fear energy in your conscious and subconscious mind, and then take that same fear and illustrate and walk you through in detail how it becomes a phobia or a paranoia, and what it is that you have to do in both contexts to assist and support yourself. You know, how to release yourself from the fear and how to release yourself from the phobia or fear, paranoia.